So, I got an email about a week ago from Sony advertising slots to have a go with their PSVR virtual reality headsets at the Insomnia Festival over the Easter weekend. So, intrigued as I'd never heard of the event before, I did a little research, saw that it looked fun, only cost £25 for a day ticket and seemed to be a good day out for me and my son. Insomnia is a gaming festival rather than a convention or expo or trade show, so don't expect all the big games publishers and developers to be there, something that was a little disappointing at first. Although Sony, Microsoft and Nintendo had stands, there was no EA or Activision stands, no Bethesda or Ubisoft. So although you can get, or could get your hands on a Switch, PS Pro, a PlayStation VR and an Xbox, the choices of games to play were pretty limited and there wasn't really that much new on show. There were stands that had Oculus and the HTC Vive to try, and a couple of hardware vendors, but Insomnia definitely isn't a trade show, so you can actually walk around the main hall in about half an hour and have a good idea what's going on. Extras that I didn't expect were loads of retro games consoles to play on. If you fancied travelling down memory lane, you could fire up an N64, Mega Drive or a whole host of older gaming technology. There was a large board gaming section, plenty of cosplay stands and quite a few music stalls and music equipment stands too. Insomnia definitely caters well for the younger gamers who might fancy getting hands-on with physical Minecraft toys or playing in Minecraft tournaments. In and around the main hall are the various stages. The large auditorium was hosting the i60 Insomnia show and an AI presentation. And then there were the smaller exhibition and creator stages with presentations on cosplay, Twitch, winner stays on Justice 2 and lots of other topics. Off to the side was the bring your own computer area, where if you pay £100 you can rock up with your own PC and enter the various competitions, or I guess just play on the land for the weekend. It's not something I'm interested in, but Oliver, my son, is going to come next time with a friend and bring their computers, because you can't just walk around that area and see the Twitchers and YouTubers playing those tournaments, which is one of the reasons why you wanted to go to Insomnia. Luckily though, later in the day some of the Rocket League Twitchers did come over to the barriers and have a good chat with Oliver and some of the others, so that made his day. Then there's the large Twitch stage, which had a live Yogcast and the CSGO Grand Finals later on in the afternoon, and the Call of Duty World League stage, which fired up after lunch with various teams battling it out. So, after our initial disappointment with the lack of big name stands in the main hall, we got stuck into actually having a go at some stuff and watching some of the shows. I thoroughly enjoyed the Let's Talk Twitch panel on the creator stage, and Oliver liked walking around the vendor stalls looking for equipment for his new PC build, but there weren't that many deals on offer and none of the vendors had that much inventory of the smaller items. Checking out the Nintendo Switch was fun. I didn't bother queuing up to have a go, but watching the new Zelda running on a big screen TV was very impressive and changed my mind as to the capabilities of Nintendo's new console. The Sony PlayStation area was good. They had a PS Pro running Horizon Zero Dawn on a beautiful large TV, but there weren't enough terminals to play the game itself, which is a bit of a shame. What was great was having a go on the PlayStation Virtual Reality helmet. As I said earlier, I pre-booked my time slot, and although there were loads of people waiting, no one wanted to have a go at Resident Evil, so I just jumped straight into a booth and was playing straight away. The PSVR was amazing, and as soon as I've got the cash, I'll be buying one. We then watched about an hour of the Call of Duty World League, which was a lot more interesting than I expected. Being in the room with the players, the big screens and the shoutcasters made for an exciting atmosphere, and as you've guessed from the background video, it made me want to return to Infinite Warfare and give it another go. I then watched about half an hour of the CSGO Grand Final on the Twitch stage, which again had all the bells and whistles of a massive screen and the shoutcasters adding commentary, and although it wasn't riveting for me because I simply don't play the game, it was enjoyable while Oliver went and spoke to a few Rocket League Twitchers and YouTubers. We bailed from i60 at just after 7 o'clock, ready to go home, but after having a good day. Things that weren't so great about Insomnia were the lack of stands from big name publishers and developers. Also, apart from the big names like Nintendo, Sony and Microsoft, many of the stands where you could have a go on games were chaotic. There wasn't a queuing or a time system, so it was just a case of hoping the person in the fray in front of you got bored so you could have a go. The game, B Long section it was called, where they were going to be hosting the mini tournaments, was the worst example of this and definitely peed me and Oliver off. Food and drinks are expensive from most of the concessions, but there was a Subway near the Twitch and Call of Duty stages that was reasonably priced, so I'd say bring plenty of food and drink if you want to have a cheaper day out. Parking at the NEC was good value at only £5 for the day and about a 10-minute walk to the Insomnia Hall. We got there for, I think it was 10 o'clock, and had to wait half an hour to get in, but you don't really need to get there that early unless you want to jump on specific stands. But if that's the case, you can always pay the extra and get an early access pass that gets you in at 10 o'clock instead. I really enjoyed the Twitch panel we watched. I loved having to go on the PSVR, and it was great to see the Switch in action, and watching the Call of Duty World League, and the competitive CSGO was fun too. With all of the live events we watched, as long as you got there early enough, there were plenty of seats, although there was a lot of waiting around for them to get started. Would I go again? Definitely. It's a good day out, and I enjoyed myself. It made me realise just how big this gaming industry is, and how we're all part of a much larger community. Probably the next time Ols is going to get a weekend pass and a bring your own computer pass and spend the whole event up there with a friend, and I'll probably come up for one of the days, but I think I'll probably plan a little bit more carefully the panels I want to sit on and the stands I want to queue up for. I'm also going to look into visiting more gaming conferences, shows and expos. I enjoy the atmosphere of Insomnia, and I want to check out what else is on offer. Whether it'll appeal to you depends on a number of things. You've got to bear in mind that a lot of the Insomnia content is aimed at younger gamers, so you'll need to have a good look at the what's on schedule when it becomes available for the next event, and decide if there's enough to keep you occupied for a good portion of the day. If you haven't watched any competitive multiplayer gaming in person, like the Call of Duty World League or CSGO, it's definitely worth checking out. And the entry price for all of this is pretty reasonable. So I think if you're into gaming and it isn't too far to travel, the Insomnia Gaming Festival is worth visiting for a day at least once. Okay, so that's enough from me. Please put any questions or comments down below. Hit like if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe if you'd like to see more of the same. Thank you very, very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Maybe at Insomnia.